Hi everyone. I cannot tell you how good it feels to be with you all consistently again. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about all things pregnancy and Peloton and why I personally think Peloton is the perfect fitness, routine, company, community while you're in pregnancy. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ashleigh and I cover all things festivals and fitness and especially Peloton. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my pregnancy journey on Peloton throughout this second pregnancy. Before you even continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hit that notification bell to get more content from me when it comes to Peloton. If you don't already know, I recently had within the last year my second child. I had already had a son who is 6 and now I have a daughter who is almost about to turn 1. And both of my pregnancies were vastly different. I'm not going to go into details here about the differences in my pregnancies. However, if you would like to know more details, let me know and I can create a separate video going into those nuances. But I can tell you a little bit about my fitness journeys during pregnancy and post pregnancy during my postpartum period, so you can understand how this pregnancy was different, especially being on Peloton. With my son, I worked out all the way up until his birth. And at that time, I was still living in the city, living in Chicago, and I did the traditional gym format. So I had a traditional gym membership, and my favorite thing to do was spin class. I also would do strength training classes and kickboxing classes, and I kept that up all the way up until he was due. And the last month of that first pregnancy, I also started to go to some prenatal yoga classes, and I wish that I had started those sooner because they were a godsend, especially in that last trimester when I was feeling aches and pains because of baby, especially in my lower back. Honestly, after going to class, I felt like I was healed. So that kind of was the extent of my workouts during pregnancy. Postpartum, I really struggled. I struggled to balance it all as a new mom. I felt like I wasn't didn't really have the tools that I needed around me to properly take care of myself. I kind of felt like I was being pulled in multiple directions. And I lost sight of my personal self-care and fitness, so much so that I actually gained weight and I didn't really work out consistently until probably a year and a half into having my son. And that's when we moved out to the suburbs and I joined a yoga studio. Actually, before I even did all that, I had lost so much muscle and just strength that it was just enough to just have me do the 15 minutes, 10 minutes of yoga via a yoga app. That literally was actually a workout for me. So I knew that I would have to build up my fitness level again. Yoga was that for me, and then I joined the Peloton community via app. So I did the bike hack. If you haven't seen that video, that's one of the first videos I did on this channel. I'll link it up above. And that is what really got me back into shape before I got pregnant with my daughter. I upgraded to the actual Peloton bike in 2020, so towards the end of that first year of the pandemic, because I knew that I was really committed to this community. I had 2 years under my belt with the hack, so I knew it was something that I would stay with and it was consistent for me. So I took that leap and it was one of the best decisions that I made. If you're interested in kind of understanding how I got back into shape post my first pregnancy, there's plenty of Peloton vlogs on my channel. This time around with my baby, my second child, my pregnancy was completely different. The first trimester, I was seriously fatigued, more so than I was with my son. And I also had more morning sickness. I never was physically ill, but I had a lot of nausea, and it made it difficult for me to move around. So that first trimester, I saw a major dip in my activity level. Before pregnancy and before the second child, for me, I would work out 5 days a week and sometimes 6 days a week. Fitness for me is my me time. It's my self-care time. It's my mental kind of decompression. And I do it for the sake of enjoyment. So to go from that to virtually maybe once or twice a week, maybe skipping a week just because of how I was feeling with my HCG levels so high, that was a departure for me. Cut to the second trimester, I definitely saw a major spike in my energy. I got a lot of my energy back. And one of the things that I love so much about the Peloton community is there's always a challenge. There's always something that can get us back into our routine, to get us back to our motivation. So I actually did the 3 for 31 challenge with Robin. If you're not familiar with that, Robin tasks us to do one of 3 things every single day of that month. So it's either run 3 miles, walk 3 miles, or do some type of fitness activity for 30 minutes. For me, because it was cold and it's Chicago, we have winter weather, and at the time I didn't have a treadmill yet, it was 30 minutes on the bike. And that really got me feeling good. It got me feeling more prepared for delivery, and I was doing great. Then COVID happened. Yes, COVID during pregnancy. And probably a couple of weeks into 2022, I crashed. And pregnancy, COVID during pregnancy is even worse because you definitely have a longer recovery time because you're not able to have the same medicines at your disposal during that time. And I was hit with a double whammy of fatigue. I just could not get myself up. It almost felt like I was back in the first trimester. A lot of my activity this pregnancy, because of that and the side effects that I had after COVID, was sporadic, not as consistent as when I had my son. However, because of the dedication, the love I have so much of this community, I did have the strength and the muscle mass to really prepare me for delivery. So all of the benefits of Peloton, I was still able to cultivate. And like I said, even though it wasn't as frequent as I would have liked, as I normally would, which would be like 5 days a week, I still was getting in some type of Peloton workout or session during that time sporadically. So I took some notes, and I also have here some clips of some of the things that I did during that time. But I took some notes around how Peloton worked for me during pregnancy, because as I mentioned, this is my first pregnancy with Peloton, and I thought that I would share that with you. So I've got my trusty notebook, and we're gonna walk through each of these. The first thing that I want to talk to you about are the benefits of Peloton during pregnancy. And these are things that I experienced during this time, and why I think if you are pregnant, it's a viable option to keep yourself active, to keep yourself motivated, and then also to prepare for delivery and for your little one. So the first thing is convenience. Especially if you're a mama that already has kids, Peloton fits in where you need it to fit in. You can do a workout whenever you want, whenever it's convenient. And you can be a part of the Peloton community and not own equipment. You could own your own sets of equipment, but you can also just do the app. But because it's an app, because it's a digital platform, you're not restricted to hours that you would to a gym. Oftentimes, after my son would go to bed and I would get him ready for school, I would get a workout in, a restorative yoga session, a prenatal session, late at night, early in the morning, just stretching throughout the day. I could get it in whenever I had that free time. And that was something that was different when I compare it to working out previously, where I was a part of a set schedule during my first pregnancy. The second thing is you can modify as you go, and you don't feel the pressure of having to overperform because you're with yourself. There's no stigmas, there's no one watching you, and you feel good and confident about modifying for the trimester that you're in. And the nice thing about that is because you're in your convenience of your home, Peloton offers so many different moments within their classes where they will show you a modification of a move, whether it's because you're not at that fitness level or if you are pregnant, you can take that modification. So make sure that you check out those modifications and use those to your advantage. The third reason why I feel like Peloton is in the ripe and great place right now for pregnancy is there's been a lot of instructors who've recently gotten pregnant and had babies. You have Jess King, you have Chelsea Jackson Roberts, you have Bex, you have Anna Greenberg, you have Robin. Robin's actually pregnant with her second child right now. And I know I'm missing someone else, but there's been so many different pregnancy announcements, which is great because it's added more diversity to the program. Before Robin, I think I would say in the history of Peloton, before Robin got pregnant, I would say pregnancy content or prenatal content, postpartum content was very limited, and is mostly limited to prenatal yoga classes on the app. Once Robin became pregnant and had her first daughter, that shifted. And part of that is because she's the head of the fitness department. I forgot what her official title is, but she is a part of programming. So she put together a great collection of workouts. I think it's just I think there's like a pregnancy strength program, and then she also put together just a pregnancy prenatal program in general. I'm actually going to look it up so that I don't get this wrong. One of the things that you'll notice if you're new to the app, if you go under workouts and there's at the top, you'll see programs. If you go under programs, there's a variety of kind of already curated content for you there. And it's really great if you're training for something, regardless of if you're pregnant or not. And they have a variety of different things that you can cultivate from that section. Where we're gonna look is actually in the collection section. It's called Strong as a Mother, which is the title of Robin Arzon's book, and it's a pre and postnatal collection. I took a lot of the classes in here. I didn't start from beginning to end, but I did take a lot of classes in here. And let me tell you, it's great because it's organized by trimester. So they have upper body, core strength, full body, lower body, and then they have yoga flows based off of trimester. So for instance, there's a 20-minute first trimester evening yoga flow in here. And then there's also additional content that they've been putting up consistently on just on demand in general. So you can actually filter by prenatal. I'll put up just some footage here, but of prenatal there, and you can actually filter classes that are modified and made specific for prenatal workouts and fitness. The lovely thing about this too is they also include postnatal in this program, which is really important, especially when you consider your core, your pelvic floor, rebuilding all of that strength. And I found those workouts extremely helpful. I'm not going to mention too much here about my postnatal journey because I think I can do that in a separate video, but there are a lot of tools that can help you rebuild your strength as well. So that is a benefit of Peloton. The fourth thing is a supportive community. So not only do you have the support of all the instructors who've recently become moms, there are so many different communities in Peloton that are great if you have questions about fitness in Peloton, or if you just have questions about becoming a mother in general, that I would recommend that you join. The first one is the Peloton Moms group. That's just a general Peloton Moms group. You don't have to be prenatal, postnatal for that. But you can ask advice when it comes to that. Then there is a specific group, I think it's like Peloton Preggos, that I'll put the name here that I utilize, and it's a great supportive place, not only just to be around people who are going through something similar to you, but you can ask a lot of questions there. They have a lot of links to fitness products during pregnancy there, and also they just have overall just baby products in general, and they have reviews, so people will review these things, and it's a great resource overall if there's something new that you're trying, or let's just be honest, if you're going through it and you just need some advice. So I would recommend those things. But just like with anything else in Peloton, there is a sub community that is there to support you, and I think that that's great and empowering, especially as you're transitioning into a new life stage. The fifth thing that I love so much about the Peloton community and Peloton in general when it comes to pregnancy is it really does prepare you for labor. So not only do they have, like I said, the strength programs, but the yoga sessions as well as the meditations are really great to include into your regimen to help you really get in that mindset, to control your breathing, to practice those things for labor. In addition, they have some great restorative prenatal yoga classes that just help with your changing body, gives you just that boost of energy that you need throughout all of the stages. There are some specific workouts that I would recommend during pregnancy that Peloton offers, and I'm going to share these here, and then we'll wrap up the video. I'll just give you some overall tips when you are thinking about utilizing Peloton during pregnancy. Workouts that I would recommend, the first one that I would definitely recommend are obviously the collection that they put together, the prenatal and postnatal collection, Strong as a Mother. But I would also recommend any of Robin's strength classes. So she has some great prenatal strength classes. I think it's important to increase your muscle density while you're pregnant. It's going to help you prepare your body, and she has a variety of full body, upper body, lower body workouts that you can do there. She also has core, and so that's really going to help build your pelvic floor, which is really important during pregnancy. The only thing that I would say is it's perfectly fine and healthy to lift while you're pregnant, but listen to your body. You may need to go down in your weights. You may need to just, take it easy, do lesser reps. Just make sure that you're modifying and listening to your body there. Some of the other programs that I really love, I love any of the prenatal or postnatal yoga classes that I mentioned. They typically have the prenatal classes listed by trimester, which is really important. And they also have restorative yoga. And if you don't know what restorative yoga is, it's basically just a very slow down, gentle, a majority of it is stretching and meditation type session, which is really great. It gets all those aches and pains out of your body. And I would do that almost every night before I went to bed, because one of the things when I was pregnant is sleeping can be uncomfortable. It can be difficult. Restorative yoga would put me in the mindset of sleep, and it would also get out all of the aches and pains so I could get a good night's rest during pregnancy. So I would absolutely recommend the restorative yoga and the prenatal flow classes. Other things that are gentle on your body that are great to do, bar, Pilates, again, take those modifications, but I think bar would be a lovely addition to pregnancy. I've only done a few of the bar classes just because there's so much Peloton content, and I wasn't pregnant during that time. But because of the orientation of the movements, I feel like it would be a perfect for pregnancy. What about the bikes? So their low resistance classes are perfect. They're great. You can go at your own pace. I would definitely recommend the low resistance classes. There's also something called Power Zone Endurance, and Power Zone in general is set to your level of your fitness level, so you could actually retake the FPT test or you can, you know, stay within a certain range of those your power zone bar, and really focus on your own personal achievement or your own personal fitness level during your pregnancy. Endurance rides are just a great way to continue training and to continue building strength without overdoing it. Because you don't want to get overheated, you don't want to get dehydrated. Those are things that are dangerous during pregnancy. So I would definitely say low resistance cycling classes, power zone endurance classes. I believe Robin and even Jess King also have some of the, I think there's like prenatal cycling classes that you can look up. There's also walks. Walks are great. They have hikes. You could do those outside. Often before I had a treadmill, I would just do some of those walks outside before. The walks come in handy too in that third trimester. If you're trying to walk baby out, you can throw one of those on, have some music, and walk around your block. And they do have some prenatal walks on there as well. So all of this is tailored. So I would definitely check those out as well. And then last but not least are the meditations. Again, meditation is just a great practice to clear your mind, for you to focus, especially before labor, and to practice your breathing. So I think they even have some meditations that are geared towards parenting or just getting in touch with like the motherly instinct inside of you, and I love that. So, you know, snaps for Peloton for really thinking about your mental health as well, and addressing your body, mind, and spirit all in one place. So what would I recommend for just adjusting during pregnancy for Peloton? So really simple things. For the bike, I would say adjust your seat for belly and for baby. So you probably will have to go outside the bounds of your typical custom settings on the bike. And by that I mean the handlebar settings, your seat settings, and even the height settings. For me, especially once my belly started to expand, I got some aches and pains from my legs being too close to my belly, and the handlebars being too far away. So I had to adjust so I could sit upright while I was cycling more. So just keep that in mind. You might need to adjust your seat, make those modifications. The second thing is, I would say take advantage of the plethora of things on the platform. As I mentioned, all those different types of classes. Diversify your workouts. This is going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you in touch with fitness during this time in your life when you're transitioning, and you know there's excitement and nervousness. And it's also going to give you all of the good benefits for labor and for baby. I would also say do the modifications. Any modification. So that could be taking those prenatal classes that are tailored to that, or even when you're stretching or you're doing something, you can also grab some trusty yoga blocks. I have 2 here. I also have a booster for typically for the restorative yoga, but I can use it in other ways too while I'm doing my stretches. You're gonna want that to release some aches and pains, and you're gonna need to adjust again for belly. So just make sure that you consider all of those modifications. Of course, before you do any of this, make sure you consult your doctor. Obviously, if you're on bed rest, if you're restricted to movement, then you need to listen to that. Make sure that this whole entire plan fits in to your pregnancy journey, because every pregnancy is different, as I mentioned. And so you're gonna need to adjust accordingly and have that relationship with your doctor to help guide you. And that leads me to the next tip, which is listen to your body, listen to your body, listen to your body. It's really, really important that you take into consideration what's going on with your body, how you're feeling that day, and plan your workout accordingly. Don't choose a cycling class or a walk or a hike or something that's going to push you to your limits when you're not feeling the best that day. Your HCG levels might be skyrocketing, whatever it may be. Just make sure that you're listening to your body overall. Make sure that you make those modifications, and also make sure you hydrate. Your regimen in terms of your diet while you are working out during pregnancy might shift from what you typically do. For instance, typically outside of pregnancy, I like to work out while I'm fasted, meaning, I don't eat typically a meal until after I work out, if that's a morning workout, or I don't typically eat a snack before my workout. It makes me feel better overall, and it's just a personal preference. But I will say during pregnancy, I did the opposite of that. I would grab a piece of cheese, some peanut butter, a little bit of a protein shake, something to hold me over so that I had enough energy. Because you don't want to be on the bike with baby and something happen where you're malnourished. And as well, make sure you drink plenty of water before, during, and after. The last thing I would say is, just like I said, I recommended certain classes. There might be some classes that you want to stay away from. For instance, for me, I think some of those higher level intensity classes like HIIT just weren't for me during baby. Climbs, things like that. While I might join in solidarity, I would make sure I would adjust them and modify them to fit me. And that's totally fine. You do not need to do the exact metrics on the bike that are called out by the instructor. You can modify based off of how you're feeling and pregnancy, and just know that those metrics will come back. One thing sometimes that I read in the groups, and I felt too, is that we get hard on ourselves because we're not performing at the level that we typically do during pregnancy because there's a lot going on in your body. Don't worry about that. You're at where you're at because you need to be there. After baby, there's plenty of time to build up that strength and build up your metrics and get that PR. But during this time, it's about maintaining, slowly building strength and preparing for delivery. I hope that you found all of these tips and tricks helpful. Peloton was such a good fit for this pregnancy the second time around, especially having already had a son and my busy mom schedule, and I hope that it'll be just as helpful and a great resource for you during your own journey. So if you have any questions, make sure you comment those down below. Again, make sure you click subscribe and that notification bell for more Peloton videos. I'm excited to also share with you some of my postpartum tips and tricks, and I'm hoping to start some vlogs again because I have been, just tracking my progress post-baby. So I hope that you'll join me for those. I love you guys so much, and as I always say, positive self, positive wealth. Bye!